Hello everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Infiniti, and if you don't know, I'm the face, the voice, and the hands behind all the content here under Infiniti Crafting Co. and behind the website InfinitiCraftingCompany.com. Today I bring you guys channel chat 122, aka Vlogmas Day 5. I decided to do something a little different today with the time scheduling. It was kind of a last minute decision, so we're gonna see how this pans out. You guys have to let me know if you prefer the 12:30 time or if you like this more so 7-ish time. I remember in the past when I would typically upload vlog content, I would usually upload it in the evenings. So anyway, let me know in the comments. Today I'm going to be talking about how I learned how to crochet, and it's kind of going to bleed into a little bit of how I started writing patterns, because I thought about making them separate topics, but I realized they're almost one and the same. So as always, if you have questions or topics or things you want me to touch on or address, leave those in the comment section below. I would love to cover them in a future topic, or just comment and say hi. I don't bite. Admittedly, I got lazy and I did not do anything to update my sweater vest, so it's still laying over here on my craft table on the same one needle waiting for me to do that color change. But I have to record that part for the color change and what to do in that row, so it'll sit there until I get inspired again, unfortunately. But nonetheless, I finished off all of the sage thread that I had in bookmarks. Like I said last episode, I don't know why that cone felt so short to me. I guess maybe it was thicker than the other thread that I used for the wasabi bookmarks. But anyway, I have two made up with the tassels in the sage color, and I took pictures of them, but I didn't pull them off the camera. That's what it was. So I'll be pulling them off the camera and uploading that option to that listing today in the shop. I will also have a pot for the day for today, so stick around to the end of the video to see what's new in the handmade shop, aka my store on my website where I put all my handmade goods. That really wasn't supposed to be an ad sort of thing, but I did finish my bookmarks, and I even got one out of it, because the last one I made, I couldn't put a tassel on it because I had literally this much yarn left, this much thread. So I was like, oh well, this one's mine, and I love it nonetheless. And I thought yesterday when I finished off that bookmark that I was not going to want to see thread for a while, but today I woke up slightly refreshed, slightly groggy still, but I was like, I should make orange bookmarks now. And so I'm thinking about cracking this wide open after I get this video situated and uploaded. Let's see how fickle my computer wants to be today. I also started on that black and red water bottle holder yesterday, so I was kind of busy. Oh my gosh, there's wool fuzz everywhere. Anyway, I started on this yesterday, so I'm excited to get through this. I noticed that the black cotton yarn is thinner across different brands, and it's weird how they decide that. But anyway, I guess the dye takes better or something, I don't know. But anyway, this one feels really lightweight and airy, so we'll see. This is for a bigger size, obviously, so you know, I'll be kind of play testing this one after I finish it. Also, I had a bit of a light bulb moment, and this is going to go into story time before we dive into how I started crocheting, so I apologize. But nonetheless, it is relevant because it pertains to Infiniti Crafting Co. So here we go. You guys know that last semester I got to do a wood firing, and so I was doing a lot of testing with glazes and such, and I had a small collection, if you will, of pieces that have this coloring on them. I know I'm a little bright over here, but out of all of my pieces, these few pieces, the glaze results on them were how do I want to say that? They stood out to me more. And then they also got a lot more oohs and ahs. Even my professor asked me what the heck did I do to get this. And at the time, I didn't know. I'd known I'd written it down, though. I take extensive notes on things, so I have records of lots of stuff, even if I can't pull them out at that very moment. But as it were, as I prepare to head back into the ceramic studio this go around, I whipped out my ceramics notebook sketchbook and found the page for where I was doing all my glaze testing and sorting and whatnot, and I found the only plausible answer to that question. So in essence, I think I can recreate this color scheme, and I love it because it reminds me of seashells, kind of. And I love how it just ran and bled, and the glazes I used, there was no logical reason, though there is chemical reactions, but there's no logical reasons for this, this what, taupe-ish, beige-ish, tannish color to come through like this. And so I am intrigued to try it again on longer pieces, because as you can see, the glaze really ran. It really ran, and I was just blessed enough where on this side it stopped running and it didn't get permanently affixed to a kiln shelf out there. It is wood fired, you can tell because it's burned. All the flashing, there we go. Crazing is something totally different. Flashing that hit it, the ash and whatnots in the fire got to it, and it singed it basically. But that's how I can tell my pieces apart. It's supposed to happen. It happens to everybody's pieces, so you know, it's not an outlier. But the colorway is beautiful, and I can't wait to experiment with it on different forms and stuff like that. And no, this piece is not the piece of the day. I did use it to kind of tease the sale that I'm hosting through the month of August. If you guys haven't checked out the community tab, I suggest you do so quite frequently, because I will more often than not put my different announcements over there, and if you're not checking it, you don't know. Moreover, the email list gets more fleshed out details than that, so if you just want a one-stop shop for everything, then I would suggest signing up for my newsletter, which is on my website. I think it's a tab across the top of the page, so you can just click over that and enter in your info. Join the community, join the club. Okay, how did I learn how to crochet, right? So, it might come as a shock to you guys. I am something of an auditory visual learner, somewhat. I have a very odd learning style because it's very blended, but nonetheless, when it comes to certain things, I am very visual and auditory. And so I took to the one place where I knew that I could get the kind of tutorial stuff that I needed, and that was YouTube. So when I first started getting my supplies and stuff, I headed right on over here to YouTube, and I went through several different videos. Now, unfortunately, I don't remember exactly which beginner tutorials really just gave me that aha moment when it came to making stuff. No, I can't remember for the life of me on that one. But it was a combination of a bunch of different awesome channels back then, and you know, I think I ended up following a lot of different pattern tutorials. I know from the Pattern family for her slouchy hats, because I was into the beanies for a while. What else was I really keen on making? I know the star blanket I was making for a while. I was making little star blankets for different friends and stuff that were having kids back then. And, well, not all the way 10 years ago, maybe a few years after that, but still. Let me see. Yeah, no, I think I made a couple of those. Did I make a hexagon blanket? Or did I just add a variation to that star blanket? I don't know. But basically, long story short, I used to follow a bunch of random YouTube tutorials and such, and I thought they were really cool. I didn't really know anybody. I didn't know anybody that did fiber arts, and certainly as I continued to do them and whatnots, it was very far and in between that I encountered somebody else that knew how to crochet. I can count on one hand how many people in real life that I had run into at the time, that knew how to crochet and actually knew what I was sitting up doing, and that was kind of cool. But of course those encounters were brief, so I didn't have anyone in any kind of circle to show me how to do stuff in person, so I learned from the internet. And then a couple years in, or a few years in, I was interested in writing down the things that I was doing, but I wanted to shorthand stuff, and so my brain cells were like, okay, let's see if there's some abbreviations. I think I did see stuff on the yarn labels too from time to time. I think I made a couple of things from the yarn labels on the inside. You guys know what I'm talking about. And that led me to looking up at the actual abbreviations eventually, and I stumbled across the Crafty Yarn Council, which I thought was really cool at the time. And they had a whole cohesive list of abbreviations and whatnot. And I'll leave that linked in my description box so you guys can find that if you're interested in learning how to read written patterns. So yeah, from there I started just taking cues from that list and writing out what I was doing with certain things, and if I liked it enough, I would keep it in this binder, which I think is up there on my other yarn shelf. But anyway, this binder of ideas, so to speak, and I would just keep playing off of that whenever I needed to reference back to something and whatnot. And eventually, I was like, I could branch out and kind of do my own thing. So I started dabbling in that a little bit, and I think the first thing I decided to actually write out was the Nearly Solid Shawl, which now that I am older and more well versed in the crochet world, that was an incredibly simple pattern. So, you know, everybody starts somewhere, but I found a lot of joy in that, and of course I kept going and learning different techniques and whatnots. You guys know, infamously, I fell in love with cables, and I have like 1,000 cable tutorials on my channel for both crochet and knitting, and then even Tunisian crochet. And a lot of my patterns incorporate different types of cabling. I don't like to be complicated. I don't really feel like cables are complicated, but I do recognize that they're hard for some people, especially with the knitted cables. Not gonna lie, I was a little intimidated to start knitting cables because I found out that you had to transfer stitches onto another thing, and I was like, oh my god, what if I lose them? So yeah, that's why one of my favorite things for cabling with knitting is this thing. It looks like those candy cane shanks that people used to do. Or at least when I was a kid going to school, I remember even up to 3rd grade, kids were just making candy cane shanks, and it was weird. Anyway, but this thing is my favorite tool for using it because I can just scoop it one way, and I have this hook here to hold my stitches there, and I don't have to worry about losing them, especially as I aggressively start knitting, or if my stitches are a little tighter than expected, then I don't have to worry about them slipping off of there. So I always prefer this little fish hook candy cane shank thing when I'm knitting cables. But apart from that, crocheting cables is really cool to me. I again put them on a lot of things. Even my bookmarks have cables going up the middle. So yeah, it wasn't a really long, complicated story of how I learned how to crochet. It was literally just YouTube University and, you know, the will to learn. And there's always something new to learn about crocheting, and even pattern writing for crocheting, which I find gratifying in its own way, because it's like I'm always adding some kind of new tidbit to my skill set or something like that, or discovering something new on my own and then being able to relay it or share it, or, you know, if I get into one of my over-explainy modes and teacher mode and all that, then, you know, people get extra information that they probably didn't ask for, but nonetheless find useful. So that's why I'm here. And again, I just, you know, I really enjoy teaching the fiber arts, for one, because I know I can just put my videos out here on YouTube and people can watch them, and the commentary that I've gotten over the years by far is very encouraging to continue doing that. And it was funny enough, I don't remember where I found the analytic, somewhere when I was looking through my YouTube-y stuff, and I saw that like at least 96% of people who have viewed my videos liked my videos. So I think that's a good thing. You know, I'm not certain, but I think 96% is pretty darn good. So I'm just glad to be able to share what I know and share it with so many people who also enjoy the craft, or, you know, have wanted to get into learning the craft, or maybe they tried to learn before, they got frustrated, threw it to the side, and then came back, and I was able to help them with something that brings me such joy. And I read all of your comments, even if I don't quite get to them, or if I just leave a little heart or something, or if it takes me a few days to get to them, because, you know, life, but I read each and every last one of my comments, and I appreciate each and every last one of you for tuning in and leaving your kind notes and messages. It warms my heart and it makes my day. And it also encourages my madness, so, you know, all I ever ask is for a little support. So if you're new here and you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, here is my plug. Subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on my future knitting and crochet content. I post more than vlogs here on this channel, most definitely. I was a tutorial channel first, so you know, that's kind of how it's just playing out, basically. And I just, maybe within the last couple of years, started enjoying doing vlog content, and so I started doing vlog content. Outside of the month of August, I usually only do vlogs maybe twice, maybe thrice in a month. I don't usually have so many updates, but this is usually the month where I can sit back and kind of think of random little tidbits that you guys might want to know about, and also grab stuff from the community that, you know, you guys want to hear about. But I can't say that I'm also self-important, that I think I have like so many interesting facts or things or whatnots. I often pull from my community, like I guess pull too, but anyway, I often take you guys' feedback and kind of incorporate it back into the videos, which I know this is kind of going down a rabbit hole, but if you're not new here, you know that happens. A lot of stuff that has happened with the channel is because of community feedback. Like, I remember when I was first kind of getting started and I was asking, okay, what would you like to see out of the swatch tutorials and things like that. And I specifically remember this one lady that came and commented, and she left me like 3 paragraphs of things that she would love to see from my content. And a lot of that included like seeing how the fabric stretched, talking a little bit about like describing it verbally, the pattern and what it could be used for and things like that. So that's why I do that now, and that's been 5 years ago. So I think people enjoy that aspect of it as well, so because it's not just your typical intro to things. But I don't know. You know, sometimes I ask and I get crickets, so I just assume that I'm still doing it correctly, and, you know, that's all I can do. I was about to close off this video and I nearly forgot to show you guys the pot of the day, because I promised that I would come back with a pot for the day. This new pot will be uploaded on the shop. Like I said, as soon as this video is over, you can head over and find it there, all shiny and new in different angles and such, and neutral lighting mostly. Lighting is such a weird game, because even when I have the white light on and on the neutral gray background, sometimes you can still get the warmth of the glaze or whatever item you have bouncing off of the light and off of the white walls that I have down here. So, you know, a lot of stuff happens in post to get that to be like neutral so you guys can see what the actual coloration looks like. So anyway, enough of the nerdy stuff. Let's look at the pot. I realize this looks like a wad of paper, but I promise it's it's a pot. Okay, so this is Luna, and she is a mini cup, actually. So this was one of the pieces that I used the Rutile blue on in a gas firing. Yeah, in a gas firing. And sometimes the Rutile has a mind of its own. So it has this variation where sometimes it can look like that yarn bowl that I did that I named Rhonda. And then sometimes it can look like this with more of the, I don't know if I want to call it burnishing or like how I would describe that, but it has more of the brown tone and some more of the purple tone than it does the blue tone, and that's really evident on the inside of this piece, which I'm going to be popping pictures up anyway so you guys can see it better, because my lights are bright and glass reflects everything. So this is what it is. Obviously it only holds crochet hooks, or if you wanted to use it as a notion cup, that is entirely up to you. I do have several pieces coming up where I use them for notions, and the pictures will show them full of stitch markers or something like that. So yeah, this is Luna, and I called her Luna because a lot of times the Rutile blue reminds me of the moon, but this especially reminds me of like some pictures of the moon that I've seen. So there's the inspiration behind the name. And again, I want to remind you guys that you can get 15% off site-wide through the month of August because it's back to school season and everybody needs a discount this month. So you just use the code BTS at checkout and it'll apply to your order. You can also do that in my merch shop. Yeah, the merch shop, which is linked across the menu bar. You might have to hover over the More tab and click the merch shop and it'll take you directly there, and you can use that code at checkout to get the 15% off. I thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all of your support over the years and, you know, hopefully in the future. Oh my gosh, that reminds me. I guess I'll talk more about it tomorrow, but I finally got a call back from the oral surgeon, and yeah, but I'll talk more about it tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for the support and whatnot, and thanks for watching today. I hope you have a pleasant rest of your Saturday evening, and until next time, guys, happy making!